Welcome, friends and bunker busters, to another bunker busting episode of the InfoHazard podcast show. I'm your host, David, here with my buddies, Phil and Dan. Hi, guys.
What's bunking my busters?
Oh, man. It's been another doozy of a week, hasn't it, fellas?
It definitely has.
Yeah, it has.
You know, I know we're going to get into it with the whole, like, we're now at war with Iran thing.
No, dude. He specifically said we're not at war with Iran. We're just at war with their nuclear program, dude. That's how wars work.
How convincing do you think that particular strategy is?
Not very, dude.
Right.
We're not at war with Germany. We're just at war with the Wehrmacht.
Yes. So yeah, we're at war with Iran, and I'm sure we're going to dig into that a little bit more. But like, if you guys don't mind, I was going to start off with this article. I mean, I'm sure you guys are aware that, well, sorry, our listeners, I mean, obviously you two are aware. Our listeners are aware that InfoHazard is more than just a media conglomerate. We're also a think tank. Some of the research staff put together this white paper, and they asked for me to get some feedback from you guys. So here it is.
Yeah, let's see what the boffins have been up to.
Yeah. So, scrotum. How bad is Trump? In this article, we present scrotum. Let me just scroll down just a little. So scrotum is, of course, a system to calibrate ruinous outcomes from Trump's unethical mismanagement. It's a simple Bayesian statistical model to analyze the question. It's been on Americans' mind a lot lately. Just how bad is Trump? Is it time to move to Canada? You know, we've been struggling to manage our emotions on the left and in the opposition because we foresee ruinous outcomes. Meanwhile, many Trump supporters brush aside these concerns, claiming essentially that if Trump was so bad, it would have been worse last time. Our scrotum framework seeks to dangle between these worldviews, penetrating this difficult subject with our...
Hold.
with our rock-solid analysis.
There we go.
So as you can see here, oh, man.
What are you injecting yourself into this time?
I don't know, man. Boy, the guys over in the research department, they're really, we should pay them. Well, so here's a graphical model of the scrotum framework. And here you can see I don't want to get too technical here, but you can see there's a lot of, there's an unencumbered outcome, which is essentially what Donald Trump, if he got everything he wanted, what he would do. And then there's a series of, there's like a shaft of encumbrances. Like a sequence of them. Anyway, in here, you can see that there's the calibrated ruinous outcomes. So this is what we usually care about predicting. Just how bad is it? Is it time to move to Canada?
So like the more encumbrances are added on top of the unencumbered outcome, like the longer and more powerful the chain that leads to the calibrated ruinous outcomes.
You know, I feel part of me is like starting to think that these guys were like trying to make this into some kind of like penis joke or something. Because anyway, it seems a little strained. But no, yeah,
seem like them at all.
Yeah, no. They explained it to me. These arrows are causal links. Basically, what ends up happening is caused by a combination of what they're trying to make happen versus all these encumbrances. And they explain some of the mathematical models that they're working on. It's all very detailed, fairly boring, but I did think it was a little bit interesting to dig into some of this. They did list the 7 encumbrances that they think are most significant, and those are the people within the executive branch, the judicial branch, the people other than Donald Trump, the legislative branch, the media.
Kind of Donald Trump too, man. He kind of is his own worst enemy a lot of the time.
Yeah, that's true. Public opinion. And the physical...
No one disagrees harder with Donald Trump than Donald Trump.
Just ask his Twitter history. Elon can quote many times that Trump has contradicted himself. Anyways.
Brief preface, completely pointless to point out any sort of hypocrisy in Donald Trump, current president of the United States. However, It was funny to see all the tweets about that of him talking about like, oh my God, Obama's going to lead us into a war with Iran because he's incompetent and he's not going to consider other options.
It's almost like he just like wants to attack people and doesn't actually have any objectives. Anyway. So yeah, let's talk about applying the scrotum. So there are two main ways to apply the scrotum. One is to produce predictions, and the other is to make inferences about what's actually going on, how well are the encumbrances working, and what are Trump's objectives. And anyway, I'll zoom past some of this. Here's their analysis of how the encumbrances are holding up today compared to in his first term. And I think like one notable substantial drop is from the legislative branch. In his first term, there were two efforts to impeach him, or he was impeached twice and nearly convicted once. And so that was a major check on him last time. Let's see. Also, the executive branch, many of his cabinet members and employees within the executive branch refused to do his illegal orders. The last time they refused to take on cases that were where they clearly had no case. But that kind of check has all but disappeared this time. But yes, the three that I have here is for the incompetence within the executive branch, because that is firing on all cylinders today in the second term.
Almost seems like it should be higher, right?
Right,
like
it's
trying their damnedest to doing a bad job.
Exactly,
it's at
what
least 5 out of 10.
Come on,
right?
You saw that our Secretary of Defense didn't leak the Iran war plans to any journalists before the bombing this time, dude.
I mean, that we know of.
Yeah,
they didn't even leak their plans to Congress, like the people who should have been informed ahead of time.
Exactly. Anyway, the guys, they were showing me this. I thought it was interesting. Just like qualitatively, there are some kind of claims that they're making. This is still very early draft, pre-release draft, and so that's why we're presenting this to you guys for some feedback. But here are some of the inferences that they think this model supports. They say, let's see, the facts of economics are constraining Trump. His tariffs were met with immediate financial pushback from markets, and that has forced him so far to taco, chickening out, for those who don't know all the latest Wall Street trader Mexican food acronyms. Also, I think we've seen that the judicial branch has remained a significant check on Trump in his second term. Many instances of them ruling against the executive and actually stopping them from doing things. And some other inferences that the research team thought we could make based off of what we've seen in Trump's second term is he's shown this clear willingness to violate the law repeatedly and brazenly, more so than in his first term. He's shown an increased interest in targeting his political opponents economically and with law enforcement, and he's setting the stage for more violence against immigrants and his political enemies. So those seem to be the things that he wants to do. So doesn't appear to be a good guy, according to our research staff. And
science says you're
Science.
a dick.
They did a really thorough job of coming up with the conclusion that we pretty much already expected. But that's good science is what it is. You can't just stick with your original hypothesis. You got to get the data.
Well, I mean, I think there was a case to be made that Trump's last term wasn't so bad. And so maybe this term also wouldn't be so bad. And I think that this framework seems to debunk that idea and shows that, there is a lot of risk. And, to put it in their very, very well thought out and reviewed and et cetera terms, they think that the rate at which Trump's intentions are thwarted has gone from 47 out of 70 in his first term to 29 out of 70. So there's still a lot of constraint, but not nearly as much as there was in his first term. And the two main avenues where it seems like there's an opportunity for his opposition to progress are the legal actions to retain executive branch workforce and the midterm elections to try to turn the legislative check from a 0 into something greater than 0.
So since you're doing all this debunking, dude, you should be careful. There's a lot of debunker busters flying around.
I'll make sure to let the research staff know. So anyway, check out the white paper on infohazard.show. Yeah, so I don't know. I think those guys are doing great work over there. It's really
make sure to give them a high five.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do.
Yeah, we can't pay them too much. We're a nonprofit. in that we haven't made any money.
Right. It's like, wait, we're not a nonprofit. All right. So who wants to take it next?
I'll go for it. Let's
Well,
talk
but
about
also,
the...
yeah. You guys have any feedback for the guys? This model is extremely convincing and illuminating, don't you think?
Definitely, dude. We should get this before mainstream news media sources.
Yeah, it's like it's a bit of a hot take, the conclusion, and I'm worried that the heat of that take will cause the unmitigated consequences to drift from the stack of mitigation factors.
It's going to be warm. If the takes were a little cooler, then it would
The testicles will sag because it's warm. Yeah.
Got it.
It's good. It's good. We're doing good work. Good work saying smart things for smart people. That's us.
Very good. All right, Phil, what are you here to talk about today?
I'm here to talk about the Iran war.
Wah, wah.
Womp womp. Yeah, seriously. Nobody wants it. At least, I don't know. It's if someone is very in favor of the Iran war, it's sort of unclear to me.
Netanyahu?
Yeah, certainly Israel is in favor of the Iran war, particularly, Bibi Netanyahu.
Once more, he's too busy to go back to his corruption trial, dude. What a coincidence.
Funny that. Don't tell Trump about this strategy. It's not like he's getting convicted anymore. We've pretty much given up on that.
Wait, so Netanyahu can't pardon himself?
I guess not, dude.
Oh, what a lame job.
Pardon themselves.
Yeah. Jeez. Yeah, I don't think Trump has this problem.
I imagine our listeners have been keeping up with this. I'll give the super short version. The UN released a report about Iran, supposedly we're still developing nuclear weapons. Is that right? Israel launched a preemptive strike on Iran, targeting some military chiefs and a couple of, targeted assassination attempts with missiles and drones and stuff. And Iran fired back with missiles and drones, which are mostly knocked out by the Iron Dome, which is Israel's anti-ballistic missile air attack system. The U.S. also stepped in to shoot down some things from the Persian Gulf because, I guess we'd already kind of picked a side in this conflict by that point. And speaking of the U.S. picking a side, just Saturday, the U.S. bombed 3 nuclear sites in Iran. So that's a short version. Events up until the Sunday when we're recording this. I'm sure there will be something catastrophic that will happen between now and the Tuesday we release our episode. But that's a fun thing for you to report on, listeners. Let us know in the comments what catastrophic world event we've missed just because of our recording schedule. But in true InfoHazards practice, I decided to investigate whether or not we're all going to die in a nuclear hellfire. So, the players in this conflict are Iran, U.S., and Israel. So Iran and Israel, and then the U.S. stepping in to bully Iran because reasons. The Israel side, nuclear hellfire-wise, Israel is widely believed to possess nuclear weapons. And this is from Wikipedia, estimates of Israel's stockpile range between 90 and 400 nuclear warheads, and the country is believed to possess a nuclear triad of delivery options. So that would be fighter jets, submarines, and ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles. So they have there's speculation as to their nuclear capabilities, but it's widely believed that they have them, and they have many ways of delivering the nuclear weapons. Their first deliverable nuclear weapon was apparently completed in 1966, 1967. So pretty well established that if they were threatened with nukes, they could shoot nukes. And also, of the countries involved, they, in my opinion, seem to be the party most likely to shoot first.
Recent evidence suggests they're open to shooting first.
Yeah, it's just because of the preemptive strike thing. So that would be my estimation of the situation. They're willing to protect their interests through aggression rather than purely defensive measures. Iran, it's somewhat debated still whether or not they would have a nuke. It seems pretty unlikely at this point.
I feel like if they had one, they would have used it, right? Or just getting the shit kicked out of them.
See, I mean, all of this, it's like, it just never makes sense to me, these weapons. Like, they don't actually seem to have a practical
use
use.
case?
No,
Right, it's like,
if you have
you're just
them,
saying
people can't just like show up and bomb your country, dude.
I mean, well, okay, so
theory.
Israel has nukes, right? We think, but Iran
they
has
get
been
bombed all the time.
Yeah, Iran's been sending missiles at them forever. Russia's getting attacked back, whatever. Ukraine is in a war with Russia. They're not nuking them. Nobody's nuking anyone, even if they have nukes, because nukes are not useful.
The commonality between all of those parties is they get bombed a lot, but they haven't been invaded by land.
Well, Ukraine took some territory in Russia.
Yeah,
sure.
They were never like, existentially.
They weren't marching
Russia.
to Moscow. Yeah,
That's fair. Yeah, I mean,
it's not exactly Operation Barbarossa come again.
yeah, I don't know. Sure. I mean, or I guess like the regime wasn't specifically threatened. I mean, the land invasion is one thing.
I mean, I think Russia is probably way more threatened by Prigozhin or whoever marching on Moscow than they have been by Ukraine.
Right.
Not anymore.
Well, yeah, but
yeah.
That was their like peak.
He died in a tragic plane accident.
Speaking of decisions that don't make sense, just like, I'll just stop now. Yeah. I mean, Putin says we're cool. Like, I'll go hang out on my private jet.
I assume there was some shit going on in the background that meant he didn't have a choice. Some sort
Or
of
he
leverage.
felt like his options were limited.
Yeah.
Apparently. But, I mean, did he have a choice? Anyway. Right?
Okay. We can go back to that. I like talking about Prigozhin in his folly, but we can
save that for another day.
Let's get back to Iran, I guess. Before the bombings on Saturday, I had all this fun stuff to talk about, like the Stuxnet attacks. You remember Stuxnet?
Yeah.
It's like there's like the cyber weapon that like was part of like the Edward Snowden leaks.
Like unbalance their centrifuges or whatever.
That's right. Prior to the U.S. bombing of Iranian nuclear facilities, the U.S. had already been involved in at least one sort of like violent intervention against Iranian nuclear facilities, which was the Stuxnet attack. It was a malicious computer worm uncovered in 2010 that was thought to be developed as early as 2005. Basically, like infiltrated Iranian nuclear facility and unbalanced the centrifuges and caused the facility to kind of blow up, right? Like that was the.
I think it just like it wrecked up. It just wrecked the centrifuges or whatever, right? I don't think it like destroyed the whole building or anything.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Pretty crazy that like no matter how hard you tried to train them, you cannot convince people to not plug USBs they found in the parking lot into their office computer, dude.
Yeah.
Well, what's on here? It could be anything, dude.
I don't know if this is still the case, but for a time, like U.S. military bases glued, like hot glued their USB ports on the computers because some adversary was just like throwing USB drives into military bases or like dropping them. U.S. Army personnel would like pick them up and be like, weird, and then plug them in to see what they are.
I mean, okay, also like Israel and presumably the U.S. have infiltrated Iran's military hierarchy, right? It wasn't necessarily just like someone left
the official
USB.
Story or whatever that I saw was somebody like picked up a USB that they found and plugged it into one of the
nuclear
computers on the nuclear network
enrichment computer. Yeah,
they went through all this trouble to have like their air gap network, but
because of this moron, I have to spend like 10 hours every year doing security training. Do not plug in USBs from parking
and
lot.
Yet, what percent of people who took the training would still plug in a USB, dude? It's probably at least 10, right?
I think we've definitely hit the point of diminishing returns on this training. Yeah. Okay.
Then everyone's ass is covered. We told them not to plug in the USB. We told them over and over again.
Yeah. So whose side are you on, Phil?
On what? Wait, what was the?
No, Iran v. Israel. You have to pick sides, right?
Do you? No, I don't know. I'm not in favor. I guess Iran. Honestly, at this point, I'm on Iran's side.
Ooh, there's a spicy take, dude. That'll get some YouTube comments for sure, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they're like fighting back against the genocidal regime that like bombed them. Like they're They're the Ukraine in this situation.
Let me I'm not really with you on that. Let me just give another perspective. So, Iran funds all these proxy militias throughout the Middle East, including Hamas. And, on October, 7th, a year-ish ago, they just attacked Israel and killed over 1,000 civilians, kidnapped 100, mass rape and all of that. A lot of I'm not with what Israel has been doing in Gaza.
Yeah, I think
I'm obviously opposed to that.
A grievance has shifted the other way.
I mean, so if the balance of grievance has shifted the other way, maybe for Palestinians, but for Iran? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's like Israel hasn't been committing genocide against Iran.
No.
Also, can we talk a minute about how dumb Iran is in this situation with they're right next to Israel and they're like, as soon as we get a nuke, we're gonna nuke the shit out of you. Why don't say that even if you're gonna do it.
No, it's not smart. And it's not a good way to conduct your international diplomacy. They're not. Yeah,
they're major assholes. They're major assholes.
Good. They're not good.
The U.S.'s history in Iran is also really bad. The part of what makes all this so blah is just how many times has the U.S. done things in Iran that made it better versus how many times worse.
We're just like the Romans, dude. They used to fight Persia all the time. Now we are truly New Rome, dude.
Ugh.
I don't want America's army to get demolished in Persia. I don't think they would. I think they would just kill thousands and thousands of people. I don't want that to happen.
Do you think there's any chance that Trump actually deploys ground troops?
I think there is.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, he's doing such a crazy thing right now, just unilaterally bombing these sites. It's not.
I don't know. We do that all the time, dude. The U.S. is always bombing people.
Iran is not a near peer fighting nation, but they are certainly capable of striking back. They could draw us into a ground fighting war if they wanted to.
I mean, we have troops in the region, right? Some bases. I guess where are our bases in Iraq?
All over the place.
Probably
Saudi Arabia,
Syria.
Kuwait.
Do we have any in Syria? What am I talking about?
I don't think so. Not anymore,
Probably
right?
not. No, because Syria, yeah.
Bahrain,
and of course, carrier groups and the water. Probably. So, yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily, I don't think it's, I mean, I think that's the bad case scenario, Dan, and I don't think it's that wild. We've already been drawn into the air fight, shooting down, we've been engaging with the Houthis, which are an Iranian proxy. We've been shooting down missiles.
But we haven't deployed any troops to Yemen.
That's right. I know. I'm getting there.
All right.
Telling a story, Dan.
All right.
We're already very involved in the air and in maritime, and so it's not really that big of a leap to see us being involved on the ground. I mean, I don't, Israel had commandos on the ground in Iran in their first strike a week plus ago, and so definitely that kind of thing you could see happening, just some commando visit, just tea time in Tehran. But yeah, hopefully it does seem I don't know, Trump doesn't appear to have any appetite for a ground war. He's certainly campaigned against foreign entanglements, but he doesn't seem to be very thoughtful either, or to think about consequences.
Let's get the word from the asshole's mouth. Here's a tweet from Donald J. Trump. We have completed. Should I do the voice? I don't know. It's just do people like the voice? People
do the voice if you want to, but don't do it if you don't want to.
Whatever.
Can't you do a vampire voice?
Yeah. Okay. We have completed a very successful attack on 3 nuclear sites in Iran, including Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. All planes are now outside Iran airspace. A full payload of bombs was dropped at the primary site Fordow. All planes are safely on their way home. Congratulations to our great American... Fuck this guy. Congratulations to our great American warriors. There is not another military in the world that could have done this. Now is the time for peace. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Now is the time.
Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Now's the time for peace, guys.
Did Trump just end his tweet with "Thank you for your attention in this matter"?
He almost all his tweets on that way now, actually. For
Wait,
whatever
really?
reason, he saw that and he liked it, and so he's been doing it.
Man, a new catchphrase. That's unexpected.
Maybe he like changed his settings to like is like instead of like sent from my iPhone, it says thank you for your attention to this matter. So yeah, what do you think? Time for peace, guys?
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
Yes, it is.
It would have been better before all the bombing started, but I guess we'll take what we can get.
I wonder what was the plan there? Like, okay, like we'll go and bomb this country and then now peace negotiations. Like it seems like that would make them mad, don't you think? Like now would be the time for retaliation.
I mean, I don't know.
What it makes me think of is
very
like
game theory.
so many legal immigrants think the time to end legal immigration is right after they arrive in the country, you know?
Right.
Say more.
Right. I got the thing that I want, so now let's get the other thing that I want.
Yep.
Oh,
No-
I
no
have
one
some
else.
big advantage. Now
So
let's
Trump is the
stop
legal
fighting.
immigrant in this case, not just Melania.
Yeah, I mean, right. It's sort of like it's like laying down a bunt in politics to complement the military. It's like, yeah, our like fucking insane bombers are fucking insane. Yeah, like now that all the air defenses have been knocked out across the country, we could cruise in and drop bombs like big surprise. So yeah, pretty vapid. But yeah, I mean, I think it is basically their plan. Right? Like their plan is, okay, cause a lot of damage to Iran, like a lot of damage. I mean, a lot of damage has been done to Iran over the last 2 weeks. And
Right. I mean, like that. It's been like pretty targeted attacks, though. Like
right, attacking
it's
their
not-
military, their air defense, their military leaders, their nuclear sites, even the bunkered nuclear sites, and then they attack their energy production, like some of their oil processing. So yeah, they're not like, they're not firebombing Tehran. They're not just trying to cause lots of casualties. They are, what it seems to me like Israel was trying to do, and what they got the U.S. to join them with is to push Iran's regime to the brink of whatever insolvency or not financial, whatever, to the brink of just not even being able to function. Like,
yeah.
basically to prove to the guy to force the leader to bunker up and just to be in fear for his life, just to know that they can assassinate him if they want to, and to persuade him through that to take a more congenial path.
Yeah.
Which of course,
bring back an old classic. The Reza Pahlavi was in the news, the son of the,
I saw
the former
that.
Shah.
He's got a transition plan.
A 100-day transition plan to get back, return the country to rule by the Shah.
It was supposed to be democracy, you said, right? I thought.
Well, 100-day transition plan. Yes, 100-day. You're right. To establishing democratic rule.
Makes you wonder what they even need him for in that case, if they're just going to be democratic.
Yeah, no, it's big CIA energy is what that says. The son of the U.S.-backed recipient of the coup is wanting to establish democracy in Iran. Probably spread some freedom.
Well, that would be nice. Forget whatever. I don't really care whatever leads the interim government. I think regime change in Iran would probably be a good thing. Or like, whatever. If in the idealistic case, like there's certainly temptation. Iran's government sucks. They are awful.
See, yeah, that's the thing about this conflict, dude, is like every single government is just like such total ass bags that it's like, it's hard to even say anything useful sometimes, it feels like. And I'm including our government in that, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, my personal inclination is only slightly in favor of Iran. Like all the sides of this conflict are terrible. They're all bad. I do see them as the underdog and the most aggrieved. But yeah, no, they're terrible, and I don't wish for their current government to stay in power either.
Yeah, I'm with Danny. These guys all suck. It's like, yeah. So maybe they should all.
Every single person in the Middle East should unite and overthrow their government and just start over, dude.
1, 2, 3, go.
This man's got a plan. Why stop at the Middle East?
Danny, with a plan
do
like
it
that,
too.
you could be Secretary of State. Yeah, I mean that's what's like upsetting from the I don't know if America. I lean towards the U.S. and Israel more than Iran in this, but yeah, also like the current way things are run in these places is pretty bad.
Well, at least there's a bright side, right? All this busy work on the military side has got to at least distract Israel from their continuing genocide, right?
I think they can do more than one thing at once, probably.
Well, as it turns out, they can. I got this story here. Israeli forces have killed 70 Palestinians and injured hundreds more in yet another massacre of people seeking humanitarian aid in Gaza. It is one of the single deadliest day at sites related to the U.S. and Israel-backed aid scheme described by the UN as a death trap. On Tuesday, Israeli forces opened fire with tanks and other weapons into a crowd of Palestinians gathered with attempts to obtain aid in Khan Yunis. So pretty cool, just firing into a crowd of people looking for food with tanks.
That's not a good look. God damn.
It's evil shit. Hence, my inclination to be more on anyone's side that isn't Israel in this conflict. Now that we've got that cheerful stuff out of the way, let's move on. Danny, what you got for us today?
So, I just wanted to talk a little bit about sort of a slowly ongoing thing that's happening, not, big, immediate, flashy, explosive news like we've been talking about. But so Trump released some financial disclosures for his 2024 stuff.
That doesn't seem like him.
It's legally required. Like he has to.
Like Phil said, that doesn't sound right.
I mean, the laws that he doesn't care about, following. He follows them still, right? He just okay. I don't know. Maybe he lied or whatever, but I don't know. Anyway, so when Biden filed this, his was 11 pages. Kamala's was 15 pages. Trump's is 234 pages long.
He has a lot more stuff.
Okay, what is the specific thing? It's a financial disclosure for the president specifically, or it's not his tax return. We still don't have that. I don't think
it's for the office of. It was released by the Office of Government Ethics.
Ouch.
It's Form 278E.
Ouch.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, he received $57 million from owning part of World Liberty Financial, which is a cryptocurrency platform. So also we should note that this disclosure only includes 2024, so it doesn't
include Trump coin.
Yep.
Or Melania coin.
Yep. But so he made a lot of royalties for Trump branded products, some of which I found slightly amusing. So he made $3 million off of the Save America coffee table book. He made $2.5 million from Trump brand sneakers and fragrances.
What are we doing, guys? What are we doing?
Do you want to smell like a soiled adult diaper?
Plus, I find the sneakers so funny, dude. He's it's not like he's a basketball player. It's not like he's known for sneakers.
He is sort of known for sneakers. Well, not sneakers, but he's known for his lifts.
Yeah,
those big lifts he wears in his shoes. That's like a Trumpism.
But why don't we get into the coffee table business?
Yeah.
$3 million.
Yeah, dude.
God damn. Early retirement.
So he made $2.8 million from Trump branded watches. And then, so this one is my absolute favorite. So he made $1.3 million from his Trump brand Greenwood Bible.
Wait, how much? How much?
$1.3 million, dude, from selling his Bibles, dude. Somehow, I don't think Jesus would approve of that with all this table flipping, with the money lenders and stuff, whipping them.
Well, I feel like the Bibles were famously on sale for $60. So, that means that many, many, many people bought the Bibles. Or maybe just whatever, a couple people bought stacks and stacks of his Bibles.
Mohammed bin Salman's got them piled up over there in Riyadh, dude.
It might be, when people try to get books on the bestseller list, they buy out stacks and stacks of their own book.
Right. He probably. Well, I don't know if can the Bible be on the bestseller list?
I say that, but I 100% think that people bought this stupid fucking Bible.
Right, but with the watch, it's sorry, how much for the watch?
So he made $2.8 million from the watches. I'm not sure how much they cost. But...
that's my question, is how much do they cost?
2.8 million. Just one of a kind.
Dude, so all right, I'm going to click on gettrumpwatches.com, dude. I'm doing this for the podcast. Everyone should appreciate my sacrifice.
Your computer probably needs a sponge bath.
My God, dude, my cookies are going to be so fucked up. My like suggested ads. All right, so I'm going to look at the Fight Red watch, dude.
Fight Red.
Yeah. All right, let's see if this loads. All right.
Can I guess?
490. Oh, okay.
Nope. That.
Yeah, $499.
I'm going to guess $499.
Yep. But sold out, dude. You can't get it till August. It's going to sell out again, too.
Guys, I think we need to sell watches.
Features a bright red dial signed by the president, dude. Designed to stand out from the crowd. Strong statement of ambition. Wear this watch to show your support for the president and his success-driven attitude.
God, evil is so fucking lucrative. It's
unreal. Maybe we should rob banks.
He made more than $1 million from a 45 branded guitar. And this is the craziest one to me is he made $1.1 million from NFTs. So some people can make money from NFTs, and it's Trump.
I have a stupid question. Do you think... Do you think that... so he's the 45th president? Is that
45
is that the current
and...
number? No, he's
47. Both.
He's 47. Okay.
Both.
So...
Right?
Yeah, he's like Grover Cleveland.
In 12 years, that would be the 50th president?
I guess.
Yeah.
Checks out.
So, do you think it will be more competitive? Because people want the cool round number, 50?
I don't know.
This time people really want to be president.
Before, they were just kind of wishy-washy.
Right. This time it really matters. The stakes have never been higher.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was a stupid question. I feel stupider now that it came out my mouth.
It was not your finest, Phil. Not your finest.
Yeah, but so Trump now, most estimates put his wealth somewhere between $5 and $7 billion, up from $4 billion when he entered office in 2017.
Well, that's almost like a fifth. That's almost like a quarter Elon. No, not even close. Never mind.
That's like he's way below.
50
like
billion.
2% of Elon or something.
Yeah, 2%. Yeah, I accidentally an order of magnitude right there.
All right. And he had this great quote from some of his testimony. In April 2023, in the New York civil investigation, he testified and he said, "I became president because of the brand. I think it's the hottest brand in the world." And then he suggested that the brand value of the U.S. presidency had been worth to him maybe $10 billion or something. So
he really just does say what he thinks, doesn't he?
Yeah.
People love that about him.
Makes the blood boil, doesn't it?
So you see all these supporters who are like, oh, he gave up his salary. He's, selflessly serving the United States at great personal cost. To them, I say he's made billions of dollars. That's like the opposite of a cost, as far as I can tell. Yeah. So he continues to make loads of money from being president.
It'd be interesting to see this. He used to do this filing every year. All right.
I mean, unless he changes the rules for, before next year. But like, if anything, I would guess that if anything, with him lying on this, he's probably like overstating the amount of money he gets, right? Because he always wants to look wealthier than he actually is.
Yeah, it's tricky. It's the real estate rules. You want to like understate your value in some circumstances and overstate it in others. Like when you're selling it, you overstate your value. When you're getting it appraised for like property taxes, you understate it. And he just does that with everything in his life.
When you're using it for loan collateral, you overstate it. Guys, it's June 22nd, so that means he was inaugurated on January 24th.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ish.
So, 6 months. 6 months in the bag.
What? That's 5 months.
God damn it.
5 months in the bag.
I was almost really excited.
Off by 1 hour.
Well, at least I don't have the monopoly on being stupid this episode.
Damn it.
Sorry, that's one of the 3 hard problems in computer science.
Yeah. Well, we can look forward to celebrating when we're through 6 months of this.
All right, we'll mark it on the calendar, dude. We can have an info hazard party with all our listeners.
Mm-hmm.
What is 6 minus 1? That's another info hazard. What is 6 minus 1? Leave your answer in the comments.
Why did Kamala have more disclosure pages than Biden? Doesn't Biden have like way more stuff?
No. Now Kamala
more stocks, I guess.
Kamala has tons more stuff, right? Her husband is pretty rich, right?
I mean, they're both like decently Well, like neither of them are, in danger of the poorhouse anytime soon.
Just figure since he's older, he'd have more assets. They're both kind of lifelong politicians.
All right, Joe Biden's net worth is between $9 and $10 million.
That's pretty low.
Ignoring the brand value of the presidency.
Yeah, of course.
So 10 billion.
He foolishly doesn't monetize it, dude, like some sort of idiot. All right, and Kamala's net worth is estimated to be $8 million, primarily from real estate. Yeah. I don't know, maybe it's just like how you itemize shit out,
Weird. I guess her and her husband file separately or something? Like, I mean, isn't he like I thought he was making millions a year. I thought he was like really
That doesn't necessarily... People can spend millions a year, dude.
Okay, yeah, fair point. I'm not sure how. I guess by buying Trump watches.
Someone's got to buy them.
Crypto.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a lawyer. Lawyers aren't always rich.
Just like stacking up Bibles for a guitar stand for your branded 45 guitar.
I assume you'd want to have a lot of the Trump branded Bibles so that when your cult moves to Central America, to the compound, you're well stocked.
Yeah. For some reason, I don't think this particular cult is moving out of the country. I feel like they're pretty happy ruining this one.
Yeah, sadly.
But what country do you think we could send the Trumpers? Like, we could convince
Greenland.
The true cultists. Greenland?
Greenland.
Yeah.
I think they already like halfway want to go there themselves. Like Panama and Greenland, attack. I feel like...
So great, dude. We have to have it.
I feel like Panama and Greenland would probably be willing to take one for the team being humanity.
You think that like JD Vance and like the people who are scouting out Greenland are kind of like kicking themselves like, man, I've wasted all this time like planning out some invasion of Greenland and then we're just going to go fight one of, our perennial punching bags instead.
Yeah, they must be so annoyed that America is fighting America's enemy. Just like, damn it, we wanted to invade Greenland.
Well, I mean, they were all excited to dust off their Arctic war plans, and then the dust didn't even have time to settle onto the Middle East war plans before they had to break them out again, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to go back a bit. Since you did the tweet and the voice of the count or whatever, would you vote for a vampire for president, or would you consider that to be a disqualifying condition?
Yes, full stop, easy question.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't hesitate to vote for a vampire, dude?
Sorry, but over Kamala? No, I think I would have probably gone with Kamala.
Yeah, just like in general, like if your preferred candidate was a vampire, would that like...
Drinks blood, transforms into a bat, like that sort of thing?
Yeah, whichever version of vampirism your favorite is.
Chiseled abs, though, right?
Of course.
Chiseled abs, sparkles in daylight. Yeah, I'd vote for Edward Cullen, sure. Why not? No, I don't know. I think that, like, if there is a vampire on the ballot, then some of my fundamental understanding of reality are gone astray, and I'd have to have a good think. But gut check, I don't think it's disqualifying to be a mythical creature. I don't know.
I think that would be a constitutional crisis.
Yeah, they're somewhat inherently evil by nature. I think so.
Sorry, do they have to kill their human prey to? Or
not in all versions of mythology, right?
Depends on the mythology. I think like the Bram Stoker like Dracula is like some like the vampirism comes through like some denunciation of God and like drinking the blood out of a cross or something like that, like some miraculous circumstances. So if Dracula real, then I guess God real, and then I have to reevaluate a lot of things about my life.
Buy yourself a Trump Bible.
Get me to a nunnery or something.
My hot take is that I think a vampire would make a great president, dude, because they're immortal. So they've got that long-term perspective. It's not just short-term thinking with them, dude. They're going to be around a long time. They got to make sure shit stays together.
Okay.
Thanks, Danny.
Sure. Yeah, they're long-term thinkers, like the Chinese Communist Party.
I think we need to send this question to the research team.
Or the viewers,
over at the think tank.
Us, would you vote for a vampire? Please comment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that too.
I'm just trying to think of other mythical
say there's a vampire, like the president's a vampire, right? And he drains one person of blood a day and he kills
Danny,
them.
this really matters to you, doesn't it? No, guys, listen. One guy a day. Yeah, I know, that's nothing. 1 out of 380 million.
Yeah, exactly. Dude.
Yeah, it's a rounding error.
What if he passes universal health care? Think of how many people that saves. I would be a blood bank for the universal health care passing vampire president, dude.
If he ate old people, he'd be saving money for Social Security.
Exactly. Do you know? See, the benefits go on and on, dude.
the U.S. is a huge blood exporter. There's plenty of blood to drink. He doesn't necessarily have to drink it from live victims.
No, that was
Or
my
she.
question.
Sorry.
Yeah, he or she. Yeah.
Some ingrained sexist. I didn't think that we could have a female vampire president. I'm learning and I'm reflecting, and
When they say Yas Queen, they mean the Crypt Queen.
Well,
You don't ever think about stuff like that, like whether you'd vote for a vampire for president?
I mean, so I asked the question to the crowd at one of my shows: if Kamala had shot a man in cold blood, would you have voted for Trump? And it took about 5 seconds, and the guy said, "Yeah." And so I think that's kind of so. Yes, I asked that question to myself and to strangers, or
All right,
a
so
pretty similar question.
Shooting people in cold blood is disqualifying, but bombing people in cold blood is like okay, I guess.
well, that's
Yeah,
just
it's
the
funny
job
how
of
that
US
works, dude.
president.
They only bombed centrifuges. There were no people there. Come on.
You're the head
course.
of the. Yeah. As a small detail to that story, apparently those centrifuges were like evacuated months ago. Like
Obviously.
the nuclear sites were uninhabited when they were bombed, which is kind of weird to me.
I mean, would you go to work if there was a good chance it was going to explode? I probably wouldn't go.
Right, like the U.S. doesn't know where their like enriched uranium is because they moved it, obviously.
Wait, you
I
mean
don't know.
they're
I
trying
just
to
figured-
survive and win also? I don't know, dude. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
I just figured they were still trying to like make uranium and stuff. I guess that it is a bit of a workplace hazard, getting bombed. So I wouldn't necessarily want to go to work either. I wonder what their time off policy is like.
What are the benefits like the Iranian nuclear research?
Are there any openings?
There probably are some openings. I don't know if someone with my surname would
I
get
feel
the
like
gig.
if you immigrated to Iran, dude, you'd have just like, government agents following you constantly. They would just assume you're from the CIA.
Yeah, I don't think
And
that
what would
go
lead them to
very
believe
well.
that?
All right, with that, shall we bring to an end another bunker busting episode of the InfoHazard podcast show, guys? Any-
I'm gonna update my resume and send a email to Reza Pahlavi. See if I can get in on the next flight.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Smart. Well, see ya. We'll see you next time. Maybe Phil won't.
He'll
I
be
don't know.
tuning in from Iran, dude.
There you go.
Where the internet has been shut down on the country.
Or
That's
what's
all right.
left of it.
There's lots of USBs in all the parking lots, dude.
Also Starlink, apparently.